the,
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. You ready?
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. It's 5:31 p.m. I'd like to call what is today? The September 16th meeting of the bar to order.
September 18th, if you don't mind.
Oh, 18th, sorry, typo. First up, we have Genesis Real Estate Partners. I understand Mr. Lynch is here on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to confirm for the record.
Sorry, one moment. Would you mind turning that up? I just can't hear you. One moment.
Dennis, you might have to speak up a little.
Let me try a little bit better. I'll try to.
There you go.
There we go.
Any better?
That's
Much
it.
better. Thank you.
Any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to confirm for the record that my last name is Lynch. I have no relation to you. I have no discussions with you. And this is the first time I've appeared before you. If you can confirm that, I would appreciate that.
That is correct. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I come before you tonight on several issues. The first and foremost is that I am not sure of the jurisdiction that the chairman has accepted this from John for a notice of violation. Could the chairman tell me what the jurisdiction is of the bar to accept notice of violations? I would appreciate that.
Sure. I'll leave that to our counsel. If you'd care to join us up here, Darius.
Sure.
yeah, please.
So Lynch, good evening. How are you? It's Darius. Counsel for the bar.
Could the counsel for the bar identify himself, please?
Hey, Darius Shafazada from Harris Beach. How are you, sir?
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you.
You too. Yeah. I don't think it's a jurisdiction on the notice of violations. Jurisdiction under the criteria of section 100, starting at 149 and going through the BAR's jurisdiction. So it's not necessarily a jurisdiction of the violation. It's a jurisdiction that I understand driveway gravel that has not been approved by this board.
Thank you, counsel. My only concern is that giving notice of what was tonight, I was only notified it was about notice of violation. I am prepared to address other issues, but one of my threshold concerns is that how does the chairperson communicate with John Ludwig about accepting things that should or should not be on the agenda? And my concern is that back in August, I'm not sure when, John Ludwig said that one of the issues for my client would be, quote, on the bar agenda in August, and it didn't happen. So I'm not looking to cause issues. I'm looking to solve problems, but I'm just mysterious.
Wait. To answer your question.
May I finish, please? May I finish, please?
Sure.
I'm just mysterious how notice of violations get on the agenda, and when what John Ludwig says should be on the agenda does not get on the agenda. That's my concern. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. To answer your first question, we had our previous meeting. John, what was the date for that meeting? Just so we're specific. The previous one with Genesis.
July.
That's right. Do you
That's
have
right.
anything?
Have the exact date.
I
just
think
so
it
we're-
was July 17th, it looks like.
So for the July 17th meeting, which is available for your review on our YouTube channel, we'd be happy to provide the link. We went through and gave feedback on each item. We only approved the copper roof to be done. And to be precise, the timestamps where this is discussed is 1 hour and 15 minutes in and 2 hours and 7 minutes in. It was made very clear that a sample was to be provided for our approval before any work was done on the driveway. Secondly, your client resubmitted the same exact plans to John for the subsequent meeting. We contacted them to make sure that they hadn't attached the wrong file. They had made no updates to the plan. So what would we be meeting about? We need to have the items addressed and this bar's time not wasted and respected.
Are you finished, Chairperson?
Yes, go ahead.
One of my concerns is a void for vagueness issue. I don't understand what a July meeting has to do with an August directive that John said would be on the agenda. Again, I'm not looking to litigate these issues. I'm looking to solve them. But my client.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Chairman, may I finish, please, making the record? May I finish?
No, I would like to speak. If you would like to solve the problem, it is very simple. follow the rules and procedures, submit a sample, problem solved.
I would like to make a record, Chairperson. I would like to know how you communicate with John Ludwig without board approval. Can you tell me that, number one?
How I communicate with him without board approval? I don't understand the
Let-
question.
let's-
Could you please clarify?
Chairman, if I can, let's not, we're not going to answer questions about communications between bar members and the building inspector. What we are here to do is to let you know, Mr. Lynch, that there is a requirement that the driveway gravel must be submitted to the board, whether it's, for the next meeting or not. But until then, there's a stop work order. They need to submit the correct materials to this board so they can review it and approve or change it, right? That's what you want to do. That's all that it's on for tonight. Whether it's communications between the chair and the building department or anyone else in the village is really not a topic for tonight's conversation.
Council, thank you for
joining us.
Council, thank you for information, but I'm still perplexed as to how things get on or don't get on the bar agenda. John Ludwig said in August that the issue that my client wanted to be on the bar agenda. As I understand it, there are two issues that should be on the bar agenda. Number one is the generator, and number two is the issue of the driveway. I understand, I could be wrong, please correct me, that a member of the bar went out to see the driveway. And I think this goes back about 3 years when this whole thing started. We want a solution. What do we have to do? Do we have to submit a sample? If we have to submit a sample, tell us why, when the bar representative went out there, it was not an adequate sample. Can you answer that question? And if council wants to say you can't, I respect that.
I'd be happy to answer that question. The process for every applicant is exactly the same. We do not do piecemeal one item by one item. There is a holistic plan presented. A landscape plan is presented that you gave. Everything that is on that is addressed individually. We are not here to piecemeal approve things when there are existing violations that need to be addressed. It is not the premise of this board to ignore what we don't want to work on and only do the things that we're in agreement on. This is a collaborative effort to make sure that all of these concerns are addressed in a constructive manner.
Mr. Chairman, if it's a collaborative effort, why does a notice of violation become a violation? You've already convicted and assumed that my client is guilty, which is completely unconscionable. May I finish, Mr. Chairman? May I please make a record? I want to make a record because I think you all know this is not going to end here. I want to make a record to say there's no violation. There was a notice of violation that came after my client asked to and was told by John Ludwig he'd be on the agenda. And when you present things about a global plan, you have no permission, no authority to do a global review. You have only authority to answer the questions that are presented in an application. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. John, you walked by the house or drove by and observed that material had been installed on the driveway without this board's permission?
Correct. I observed. the
Does
work
that
going-
clarify?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
So I just heard from Mr. Lynch a note to indicate that the amount of gravel that was put on the Genesis driveway was the sample. So in fact, it may just be a matter of communication. If it was indeed the sample for us to see, we just need to look at it, right? And then give our opinion on that sample. So it may just, is it just a communication issue?
I agree with that. I agree with
A
that.
sample, and we were just not notified it was a sample, and we should just go and see it and move forward. Is
And
that
what was the
the right
volume of
way to-
stone?
I don't have any formal.
May I say, Mr. Chairman, may I say respond to that? I agree with that. Somebody saw it. I want to know what's the standards for a sample? What's the standards for a driveway? My client gave pictures of what the gravel was like years ago. I just want to have an answer to a reasonable question. Is that what are your standards? How do we move forward? How do we get approval? Thank you for your time.
Wonderful. Happy to answer that. Typically, people
you.
bring in a 1 pound bag, a handful. I brought in a Pyrex dish for mine. It's a very small sample, not enough that would be visible from the road. In the interest of moving forward, can I ask why I'm being recorded by a secondary device when this is posted for the public?
Because I have a right to be recorded under FOIL. Your counsel will tell you, as long
You're
as.
welcome to. It just
May I
seems so
please-
unnecessary.
Mr. Chairman, may I please be heard? As long as my recording does not interfere with your proceedings under FOIL law, I have a right to record, and I will record. If you tell me to stop, then we'll go from there.
You're welcome to. It just seems a bit ridiculous. From what you said, you're looking for a solution. This board does wish to work together, and it seems that this is just a very hostile interaction.
No, it's not hostile. When last time we before here, somebody said my client was banging on the table and you confirmed it was false, but you put it out publicly saying she was banging on the table. That's why I want an audio and a visual of what's going on.
Excuse me?
I want a record, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to hear you talk over me.
Could you please provide where this was made public by this board? I find that very silly. We post all of these meetings online for the public to view.
I can
Easily
You may find it silly, but it was very serious. And check online, you'll see it.
I can address that issue. It was not this body, it was an independent body, Tuxedo Park FYI, that recorded the meeting, didn't see it, and they heard someone banging on the table. That was myself in a playful manner, and they misinterpreted, and they said it was the applicant. And Victoria contacted me about it, absolutely rightly and just alarmed about it. And I contacted TPFYI immediately. They were so apologetic about it and changed it immediately because they had misunderstood. So that was a misunderstanding, and that was nothing to do.
Yes, but the defamation was done. Despite your misunderstanding, it was done. It was done with a very prejudiced and very, I say, discriminatory basis.
Not by members of this board, sir.
Not by the village, not by any of us. It was an independent person that did that, and they apologized profusely because it was nothing to do with us, and it is absolutely not the sort of thing that we would do.
So let me give me the name of the person you're throwing under the bus right now, please. What's the name of that person?
I'd like to know that.
Mr. Chair, we can just get this on the right direction here. All these other issues are side issues. The issue we have here is there's two issues I understand, the gravel driveway and the generator. If the sample is on the driveway, it can be reviewed by the ARB. If you would like another sample, let the applicant know. And also issues related to the generator. Those two things then can be looked at by this board at the next meeting. I think that's the way to go. I don't know if there's anything more to discuss tonight or go over anything because we don't really have anything here tonight.
There's not. We need a sample, and as soon as that's provided, I'm sure John will be happy to, may I finish? If I may finish first, you can.
Because I need to add information to what you just said.
Okay,
Sure.
let him
Don't
finish,
know.
then
Yeah,
you can
sure.
go.
We need a sample of the driveway material to be approved by this board. I'm sure once we receive that and it's approved, John will lift the stop work order. To move forward in the rest of the project, and this board desperately wants to work with you to make sure that this house gets the absolute beauty it deserves. We need a comprehensive plan addressing the individual items and outstanding violations that we went over with you in the last meeting and that continue to exist.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
That's all.
I fundamentally
Would you like
disagree
to-
with you.
Is
I
it my
agree
turn
with
now?
your
Yes.
counsel. I agree with your counsel. There's two issues here. If you wish an adjournment to mitigate our damages, we'll allow that. But for you to say there's a need for a fundamental review of issues we have not provided to the board, this is why there's a need to have a court look at what these issues are. Mr. Chairman,
value.
don't do that to me. Don't make a gesture that you're disregarding my client's rights. I deeply object.
I am not disregarding your
that's
client's
very
right.
rude,
This is
the way
the
you are
comprehensive
shaking like
plan.
that. Yeah.
Because I will not sit here and be told that we are disregarding you. We care deeply about this project, and I will not have things that are untrue be said.
There's
This is
other
the
issues that
comprehensive
need to be
plan that
addressed.
was.
They need to be addressed with this board.
Mr. Lynch, Chairman, this is why there's probable cause to remove you, because you're not doing your job. You're making things up as you go along. Listen to your attorney and get things right.
They will be done correctly. The same rules apply to every applicant that comes before this board, and those will be followed.
Can I raise the issue back
Yes, please.
to before you joined the board? There was a ruling at the time that about the gravel color, and there was a determination that there would be a sample prepared, and Chris Kovagal went there to see that, and then asked me to communicate to you. And this whole thing has been going on. It's not piecemeal, whatever. That was on the agenda. And then it was specifically said that here's a sample prepared. And then I invited him to go to see, and he saw it. And he advised me to give an email to you. then you said you put on the next agenda.
Yes, but it's still at that point, it wasn't approved by the Board of Architectural Review.
So maybe, Chris, you can address.
You
a
can
little bit the
elaborate, I can't
conversation you and
speak to it, I
had.
wasn't here.
So certainly, yes, I went over to look at the sample, suggested a little modification and said that absolutely it has to go to be approved at the bar, the Board of Architectural Review. And so that would be, the next stage would be to have all of the members go over, see the sample. And I think it's best in situ on the driveway because of the nature of it, because of the color of the stone and the house. It's a very imposing, wonderful driveway as opposed to a small bag. So I think we should all go there, look at it, and then the Board of Architecture Review meeting vote.
Can I
Mr.
yeah.
Chairman, why don't you look at other people next door who have done things without your approval? I call for your removal right now. You are prejudiced, you prejudged it, there's probable cause to remove you. I asked you to resign or recuse yourself tonight.
I will not even entertain that ridiculous notion, and I will not be accused of prejudice. That is an absolutely ridiculous assertion.
You may think it's ridiculous, I don't think a court will.
Oh, I do. I'm happy to bring it there.
Copy of all the emails you have to give them to everybody,
Gladly.
this
Can you
application.
provide?
I stand ready to take the record into an appropriate court. Thank you for my time.
How solution oriented. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Chair,
You had a
if
question?
You're not a
I could
solution
recommend-
The applicant had a
You're a
question. I'd like to
solution
hear
not
what he has to say.
oriented. You're an obstructionist and you're causing problems, and I'll see you in court. Thank you.
Have a wonderful
If there's
evening.
no more issues on the driveway, we can adjourn. I think you should adjourn this matter
I don't
unless
care
the
what the
applicant has
applicant
another
has to say.
question, unless she's got anything else to say.
So when is the thing gonna be on the agenda? Because you told me on the agenda, then all of a sudden, nothing gonna be on the agenda.
It's not gonna be on the
Please-
agenda till the board.
May I?
Sorry.
Please provide a sample. We will have you first item on the agenda for our next meeting.
It's all in the, Chris already see it, sample already prepared, picture already sent. What more you want?
I'd like to come and see it myself, as would the other members of the board who have yet to see the sample.
Then why didn't you show
When
up?
is most, may I, excuse me, I'm speaking and you're
Chairman, why
interrupting
didn't
me.
you show up?
Excuse me, I am speaking and you are interrupting
Why
me.
didn't you show up?
I am
You had a chance
speaking.
to
This
be
is,
there?
can you
Mr.
mute him,
Chairman,
please?
Why
I'm not
didn't you
tolerating
show up
this.
when you had the chance to be there? You had a chance to be.
I'm not
there.
tolerating this. Thank you. I'm sorry. Could you repeat your question? I was very distracted.
I said, when are you gonna visit it instead of playing this?
When is
it's been
convenient
3
for
months.
you? I'd like to make myself available.
Tomorrow,
What time?
10 o'clock,
I'll see you then.
okay?
Is anyone else from the board available to meet at 10 a.m.?
You
We can
muted
only do
me,
two
and
at a
I
time.
object to this.
Sir, you're muted because you're being disorderly and it will not be tolerated. We are seeking a solution and scheduling a time with your client. Ridiculous.
You're muting me.
Have
again.
some decorum.
Please remove yourself and resign.
I shall not. Remove yourself until you can come back.
You are prejudiced.
I am being
40
screamed at, ma'am. I am not being rude. I said I will show up first
Show me
thing
the
tomorrow
communication
morning.
with John
We should adjourn the
Rodriguez.
matter.
I'm not going to deal with
I
that.
want to see the record, Mr.
When you can stop shouting,
Show
you
me
can
the
talk
record,
to the
Mr.
record.
Chairman.
Have some
Show me
decorum.
the record, Mr. Chairman. Don't hide the record.
Are you done?
I'm
Would you
done.
like to
You're done.
continue shouting? I'm not done.
I'm not
scheduling
shouting.
Time
I'm
with your
trying to get over
applicant.
being muted by you.
Okay. So 10 a.m. tomorrow works best for you?
Anyone else?
I tried to speak, but I am unable to come. I have a very, very busy week. The earliest I can come would be this coming Sunday. But I would very much like to see it, Victoria.
Would it be all right with you if I scooped up a little and brought it in a sample to his house so you can see it before
I'd
then?
rather you come together with everybody else.
Okay, so I'll be there at 10 a.m. Is anyone
No,
else
no, no,
available?
no, I said, I'd rather you
I-
come with everybody else.
Unfortunately, we can't come in in three. It
Because
quantifies
it's
a
a
quorum, so we
quorum.
have to come two at a time.
We're not allowed to be 3 at a time.
Let's see,
But
I would love
I
to,
have
but-
privately seen the driveway.
So you've seen it,
And I
that's
can give
one.
an
and you
opinion.
see
Two.
it.
So
But
three,
I'm in the
four,
city tomorrow morning, but I
could you perhaps drive by on your way out?
could, it will be earlier than 10 though, but
Is that okay?
if you're okay with me looking from the street, then I can stop by on my own, okay?
Is that okay?
Okay.
So, Victoria, the earliest I can do it is Sunday. Probably the most reliable is a week today on Monday, but ahead of, when is our next meeting?
2 weeks from
Okay,
today.
So well within, well before the next meeting, but
Okay.
Would you find that acceptable?
Yeah, as long as it's on the next agenda instead of like.
We will be item number
finding
one.
The agenda, yes.
You have my
And what
word.
about the generator?
We have,
Just different-
I was gonna go over a short list. I mean,
Okay.
there's the air conditioning units that we've discussed. There's the generator. We haven't discussed it, but I have to say it here for the record. There's the windows on the side of the building. And the driveway material and also the modification of the driveway where it extends in between the two houses.
Can you refresh my memory about the windows?
There's approximately 7 windows on the west facing side where the air conditioning units are located
They're white vinyl.
that are white
Oh.
vinyl.
That is incorrect information. All the thing is wood. The only vinyl is that the window that moving up and down the inside part. And we told you very specifically, everything is wood. You can go knock on that.
Okay, I'd love to see them. I haven't had the opportunity.
So when we come to visit, we should be looking at the driveway.
Window is like, I had putting permit from last year. Okay, we will provide material to you. There's no need to visit that.
I'm sorry, that there is a need to address it because it hasn't been approved.
And there are-
And if the board is okay with it, fine, but it was never approved. I'm sorry.
And those are on the west front.
Yeah, they're on the same side as the majority of the air conditioning condensers.
On the
And-
ba-
and
okay.
also
Where the
driveway.
proposed
And,
generator.
sorry, not the, what do you call that, the generator.
Right, generator.
We propose to install a new generator with the storm coming up, and then the entire house is electrical. So it's gonna be a healthy issue if we end up with no air conditioner or no electricity for extended period of time. That's why this matter is of urgency.
Right.
And then John asked multiple times for information. I mean, the machine information, whereabout and all that, that was a completely separate application. So I don't know why it was never agreed to put on the board.
So John, we have 4 things: the generator, the driveway, the windows, and also the AC units. Those are the 4 issues. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
but
let's look at, the chair will go there on Thursday and look at all those issues. So on the end, we'll go on Monday. Do you want to make a time on Monday?
She asked me to come tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Oh, sorry, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Excuse me, yes. I'm sorry. You can go on Monday morning also?
I will be there on the 25th of September. Yeah,
Want to make a time?
I believe it's Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what time?
Let's see, 10 o'clock, is that good?
I
11,
had a meeting at 10.
12 noon?
12 will-
Okay, let's just make it easy, 12 noon, okay.
And you've seen everything?
I've only seen gravel. I haven't looked at the.
You want to go tomorrow with the chair? Is that possible?
I
Those
thought we
two.
were just talking about gravel,
Oh,
but
Exactly, yeah.
if we're looking at
Oh,
everything,
Sarah, I don't
then
want to
I'm very
inconvenience her
happy
and make
to-
us come
Yes,
close.
if you can go tomorrow at 10 for the
Sure.
chair, that's great. And have you seen the rest of the?
So I haven't seen the windows, so I won't be here tomorrow, so I'll join you
Okay.
on noon
Okay.
on
On
the
the
25th to look at the windows, and you'll see the gravel and the
Great,
windows.
great.
And the last one, you can look at tomorrow morning, you can look at the driveway at least. Can you look
I
at
can
anything
look at
else?
the driveway, and I would just have to look at the windows, everything else I've seen.
Okay.
Looks like there's a plan.
Yes, I think the only thing that we're missing in terms of the generator, because we too are putting one in, we've lost power a few times in the past few weeks. I understand the concern there. Did we receive, John?
Yes, sir.
Have we received plans on the size of the pad and exact location? Because I don't see it on these.
I will check to see what I
I
received.
gave you 3 times.
Yeah, and I think we did receive it. I think we still
I
had
just
some.
don't have it in front of me and I want to make sure that we can expedite this process for you.
If I remember correctly, I think we still had some reservations to what extent the generator, due to its large size, was shaded between the road or the neighboring property. But
I mean,
we'll look at that.
yes, but my concern is that needs to go where it needs to go because of the utility company. So I mean, there's only so much we can really do about that.
Well, you can screen something too if it's an
Oh,
issue.
of course,
right?
yes.
So-
And the screen, we already bought it. It's basically, Chris suggests the American holly, whatever it is.
American Holly,
Yeah,
right?
that
Great.
tree is already sitting there waiting to install and then plant it there.
Which does well in dry shade, so.
Yeah, it would stop right to shade,
Right.
yeah.
Council, if I may, I would ask for a vote on whatever the board is deciding tonight. The board can only act by a vote. I would ask for a vote on whatever you're deciding.
We shall, thank you.
There's no decisions tonight. You just gotta have a site visit separately where no quorum is present, so no vote needed.
So the board will take action without a vote, council? Is that what I understand?
There's no action, just a site visit.
Well, this is where we disagree about the void for vagueness issues, but we'll address this later on. Thank you, council, for your time tonight. Thank you, board.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Lynch.
do I understand that once you see it, then we're back to the agenda immediately next meeting?
You'll be the first item.
Thank you. Both, right? The driveway as well as the
That is correct. Our
generator.
council will provide the list that John just wrote off as well, so there's no confusion. And I believe that you will provide me with the plans to review for that, and I'll come ready.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
you.
Is there anything
Thank
else that you have questions on or that we can clarify?
That's it for now. At least we don't have that whole, for no good reason, situation.
Have a
About
great
the
night, everybody.
Postponing the,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks,
All right.
Victoria.
Thanks,
Good
Victoria.
to see you guys.
You as well.
So,
We're going to
I'm-
the other side of the
I'm going to the
table.
other side of the table. So I'm
Oh, yes, thank you. And for those viewing on Zoom, I do apologize for the lack of decorum and yelling. Some people feel they need to shout. Okay, next up on the agenda.
Good
Yes,
evening,
good
welcome. I'm lovely to
Tables
see
have
you.
This is weird. Okay, so I'm hoping to improve what we call the terrace
Yes.
Okay.
outside the West Loggia. West Loggia is the name
I've seen
given
this
by
with,
McKim, and White
Yeah.
to those, the room beyond those doors. And the West Loggia terrace that you see here was about 15 years ago covered with a cement colored red. It's a really appalling quality. You can see by the healthy plants growing out of it that it's like a sponge. It's completely wet. It has no pitch. This is the catastrophic view of this morning, where there's a
Oh
big,
my,
the water pools. It pools in this area, and
Can I see?
the room that is immediately underneath this is called the game room. It has wooden paneling, which is now completely covered in mold and has started warping outwards. Last year, this issue didn't come to our notice because there was less rain, and any rain that did come through just sort of stayed within the wall without actually coming out. So now it's on the floor downstairs, and it's also the cellar, which is perpendicular to this underneath, is completely moldy and wet, dripping wet.
so my understanding too, as you're explaining, is this was not an original material, this was put over the
Yes, I
original?
had an expert on this. I said, "Oh, is it a lovely old brick?" Because there are certain areas in the basement that have old brick, and he said, "This is the worst form of brick." Cement.
It's on the terrace, you
colored,
mean,
yes.
right,
And it's not even, it's not even attached
right.
at all. So then I started digging in the old documents, and what you see here is the actual order for the stone that was bought by McKim, Mead and White for Mrs. Beard.
April 2nd,
For this.
1930.
Yes, so.
Was it bluestone or something?
No, it was called Tennessee Crab Orchard Stone.
Oh, interesting.
And I figured out the quantity that was bought. And
What
it
does
was
crabapple stone look like?
crab orchard. I'll show you
Crab orchard.
because it's the exact same stone that is on the main terrace on the other side.
Oh, how cool.
And also in the loggia itself, which used to be an outdoor
Yeah,
space.
yeah, yeah. It's,
So
it's
that's-
paved with the same.
Yes, look at that. It's got this
It's a
kind of
big
slightly
continuation of
psychedelic,
material.
strange.
That is very cool.
And so you're saying this is on the outside as well?
It's on the, this used to be an outdoor space. And it is also, in addition to that, on the main terrace.
And it's perfectly fine there. It's not, because it functions well.
I wouldn't say it's presently functioning well, but I'm going to work on that further.
But it's not because
It's
the
not the stone that is an
stone
issue.
isn't the problem, right? Got it. Okay.
There's some other problem that we can't.
Oh, yes.
So what we're hoping to do is we're going to lay it in exactly the same kind of way. as
Lovely.
It was done then.
So beautiful.
It's almost like Art Deco gem cut.
Totally.
Yeah.
So,
So restoration and continuation of materials.
So yeah, so it's gonna have, sealant underneath and a thin concrete layer to make it, to seal it, and then this on top, hoping
You're able to
age
source the
it in.
same?
Yes, we actually found a place.
Say it's from Tennessee.
Well, it's called Tennessee crab orchard, but this stonemason that we use, wait, I'm just looking for something. He found a stone of the same colors. It can come in quite a variety of colors. It can be quite yellow,
Mm.
but we're trying to get this sort of pinkish
Blues and-
gray.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost a salmon.
Because that's the kind of color of the stucco of the entire house.
Right,
And it
right.
really goes well. If we choose the yellow ones, it's not so good. But even these, I found an invoice even for these massive stones of the same material that are still there. They're steps. They're sort of this big that are of the Tennessee crab orchard stone. So it's going to match again. For some reason, I can't find that picture right now.
And then what about the pitch and the drainage for it?
So wait, I found this. There's this stone that is
That's
a
Tennessee.
step that's still there. And
Of the same
also on the
material.
same. It's also on this
Just a
invoice.
thicker, wow.
It was bought at the same time. You've got the exact dimensions of it there. It's called 4 platforms with the measurements. They're called platforms.
Gorgeous.
So as to the pitch, it's going to be very subtle.
Mhm.
And they're from the plans, there actually used to be a drain right in the center of that little terrace.
Mm.
But it doesn't look like there's anything left. It was kind of taken away. So what we're hoping is to just pitch it away from the building gently and then make 2 small copper outlets to let the water out.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful. I mean, it's great to see such attention to the historic renovation.
And amazing to find documents like
Truly,
that.
I mean, this is just
it took me just,
incredible.
Where were
Many
these
months.
documents? Were they with the blueprints that you
So,
also found, or where were
yes, I found probably 400 blueprints and invoices for everything.
they? And Jack, or sorry, what's his name? Mr. Parr, Gary had never seen
He
these.
must have not found them.
Thank
So,
God.
I know. You probably would have.
Were they in an attic or what?
They were in the gun room. The gun room is a paneled room with lots of little drawers and boxes. There was one box there and then a box, I think, in one of the attic spaces. So I put them all together
Good for you.
Wonderful.
and sorting them.
Sleuthing.
Well, I'd like to make a
It's really
proposal
fun.
to approve.
Oh, we had a comment from one of the neighbors.
You get an email from, the neighbors were notified around the property. Greg Beard responded that he supports the work that his neighbor is doing.
I was very grateful.
Yeah.
Always nice to hear.
It's
Nice. that Someone took the time to support a project. It's nice.
It's great. I mean, because it's, this is what we want, to have as much detail as possible and diligence, and even though, as we know, it's a restoration, it wouldn't normally necessarily have to come to the bar because it's a restoration. We appreciate that it comes to the bar, especially for a bar member, so that it's absolutely crystal clear what we're dealing with. So there's no misinterpretations, and it sets a good example.
I thought it was important to do because anyone who might have seen that terrace would have seen red brick,
Mhm.
but they wouldn't have known the backstory. So it's
Well,
important.
context is important, and for a historical home like this, it's just so lovely to see that level of detail being done. And thank you.
Thank you.
So in that case, I'd like to make a proposal to approve the 174 East Lake Road on the terrace restoration. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye,
Aye. Congrats. Thank you.
unanimous.
Moving back around.
Yes, would you like to join us back on this side of the
All
table? Next, we have the Nelson applicants at 117 Tower Hill Road. They've been kind enough to provide a sample of these wood paneling. It is solid wood finished in a Japanese charcoal technique, then treated with tung oil, and I think an absolutely wonderful material application. Is anyone with applicants here today?
I didn't invite them. I didn't know if I should have or not, but
They're welcome to, but I mean, this is just approving a sample, so.
That's why I
it's,
went.
fine.
Just to be clear, the preference is that it is.
Vertical, okay, fantastic. Okay, so this installed vertically in that traditional material. I'd like to make a proposal to approve that. Do I have a second?
There's some details on the material too in the back.
Oh, on the back,
To be more
yes.
specific.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, a little thrown. So this is Pioneer Millworks, reclaimed and sustainable wood products. The species is larch, 5/8 thickness, solid paneling. Finish notes, S as in Sally, 58409. Poly sealer. I'd like to make a proposal to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Approved.
resoundingly.
Likewise. Okay, I'd like to move on to review of the minutes. Desiree?
Yes. The minutes for September 5th,
Yes.
2023.
Wonderful. Have we had a chance to review? Wonderful. I'd like to make a proposal to approve the minutes for September, what was the date? 5th, 2023. Do I have a second?
5th.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye. The minutes approved. Thank you. Okay, and was there any public comment?
I just have one item, if you
One
don't
more?
mind.
Sure.
About 2 months ago, we started at least advising the bar of the professional review fee bills that were forthcoming. We received a bill from Frederick Nugent McCartney for the Rifkin project, the $337.50. For the Buckminster project that predates Ryan, but I think the remainder of the board members remember they were proposing a roofing change, $112.50. Garrity, 32 Lookout Road, $112.50. And Wolf, 7 Stable Road, you may remember there was a fence on the wall, $135 even. That's all. So you're aware.
So yeah, they sound good, yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, I'd like to make a proposal to approve those. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'd like to call this meeting to a close. Thank you, everyone, for your time.